Hey everyone, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a traveler's notebook layout titled Pisga Garden, and I'll be scrapping these photos, and I'm working with a digital version of the collection Transatlantic Travel by Carta. This layout is based on sketch number 29, which is a silhouette cut template that is available as freebie at MistyHilltops.com. There are a number of freebies available for download, so if you haven't done it, go check it out. This is a mixed media page, so I'm starting by dabbing color or watercolor on the background with a piece of acetate. And it's just a piece of packaging I have lying around, and I'm just randomly dabbing all around where I am expecting my design to be, and I have to be careful to make sure that it's actually wide enough so that it actually shows on both sides. I do want it to show on both sides of the page or of the papers and photos and the elements that I'm putting down there. So I don't care so much about the middle part, which will be covered, but around the edges there should be something. And this is a layout that will go around a corner basically, and it will look like an L shape. And so here is where it gets tricky, because I want it to be somewhat consistent when it goes across the two pages. I'm not too picky about it with this type. If it was brush strokes, I would be more careful, but here I don't really care too much if it's exactly consistent with the two pages there in the middle and the center line. This is a traveler's notebook layout, and so the design goes across two pages, even though it is one single design. So you see again, like a lot of times it happens that it doesn't, like the art that I put in the background is mostly covered, but it shows a little bit, and that satisfies me. So after the watercolor has dried, and it just uses a little water, so it dries within a minute or two, and then I can move on. Then I start to arrange things on the page the way that I want it to be. That strip of paper, when I printed it, I guess I must have cut on the wrong side of things or something, so I cut it in half by accident, and so I have to piece it together. But it wasn't a big deal, because that part will be behind the photos, and so nobody will ever know except the ones that are watching this. So now I'm starting to put down, and I do roughen up the edges. I run a card along the edges of each of the papers, except for the circle. It has a nice faux stitching there. So I run a card along the edges to roughen them up, and so it gives the page a little more dimension, but it also makes it more difficult when I arrange things before they're glued down, because they want to slip and slide every which way, and so that's always a little tricky. So I'm also using a piece of ribbon, and you can see the glue, but it'll dry, and besides it'll be mostly covered with the photos, and so I'm not too concerned with those kinds of things that will be covered anyway. So here I'm adding the circle, and that circle will go across the two pages, so I'm mindful that I have to line up the page as well, so that it just works with the two pages together. And here you see how I am actually going to add the photos there, and that's why it doesn't matter if that piece of paper strip there was cut in half by accident, because it'll all just be covered up. I guess my printing cartridge was running out, so I had to print it again, and then I guess I was cutting on the wrong side of the page. So anyway, once I have the background laid out, then I can arrange the pictures, and obviously I want them at an angle. I don't want them to just go straight down the page, although I have done pages that way as well. And then I have a whole bunch of stamped ephemera that I created myself. The Transatlantic Travel Kit by Carta does come with ephemera, but it's mostly just tags and just straightforward elements. I do miss them adding flower things or just other travel. It's a travel kit, so it's just all just tags and word art, which I do use word art a lot. I actually create my own word strips, and you can download them as freebie from my blog, MistyHilltops.com. There's a garden one that's available. An autumn one is there as well, and so there should be a Christmas one, and so you can pick up these word strips. They come as PDF, then can be printed on cardstock, and then you can cut them apart and use them on your projects. So here's the title. I die cut it with one of my alpha die cuts. It was actually made for one of my other pages, but I never ended up using it there. And so this is still perfect for this because it's the same location, just more photos. And so I'm able to put the title here. And now I have finished adding the things that need to go behind the photos. That's something I always have to be aware of, that if I want to add things behind the photos, then I need to stick those down before I put down the photos. And then I can glue down the photos, again trying to give them some angle, and then I also want to make sure that background paper is showing. I chose one with the sail ships because there is the sea. You can see the Mediterranean from where we're in the picture, so it's very suitable to use a ship paper background. And then of course the other ones are just all suitable papers for this kind of layout. And then I'm putting down the leaves first because they need to go underneath, tucked behind the photos, not the photos, the flowers. And then I have to always make sure that those go first. It's always I find it a little tricky with the leaves. You want them to go the right way, but where do you put down the photos? So there's a bit of planning. But again, if you use the template, most of it has been planned out for you. And the beauty about these templates is you can use them for other projects as well. They don't have to be traveler's notebook layouts. You can use them on a 12 by 12 page, just enlarge everything, give the photos the size that you need for your projects. They can be 3 by 4 or even 4 by 6. And so, or in this case, they're square photos. So you can change everything, remove the background with the 2 pages, and you can use those templates for just many other things. And there's tutorials out there that I created to explain how you can use these templates. So anyway, I'm off to adding the last few bits. These are some flowers from my die cuts. Just random die cuts that I just get a collection of these flowers. I care about the little ones because my layouts are usually small. I work on small scale. I don't have 12 by 12 scrapbook layouts. I don't have the space to put things somewhere. And so everything needs to be in smaller size, which is why I like working with a digital version of the Transatlantic and the Bella Carta or the Eco Park paper products. I like that they have them as digital versions because I can scale things down to the size that I'm working with, which is more like an 8 by 8. It's not exactly 8 by 8, obviously. If a traveler's notebook page, one single page is 8 1/4 by 8 1/2 inches. 4 1/4. So that makes a whole total width of 8 1/2 inches. And so it's not exactly square, but close enough that this can be translated into any other square type layout. So here I have to still add the garden, word art, or title. It's one of my alpha die cuts. And then I have a few more little embellishments. I made a whole bunch of them, and then I just lay out a whole bunch to see what goes on my page and how can I use them. So you see there's more that I'm not using. So then I flip around the page when it's done, and then I use the back side with the line visible to cut through, and it always works well. Now I think I still want to add a little more to my page because I thought, I have these hearts and they make lovely additions. So I'm adding the hearts still to give my page a little something extra. And then stars, like we have 5-star hotels there for travel, stars always work. So I had these hearts and stars that were still lying around. I thought they still might look good. And more word strips. So this is from a travel PDF that I created, and so I think that's this page done though. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.